Hey guys, Aardvark here, and during this video we're going to be putting together some of the Armageddon pattern Basilisk and a Medusa. The first part of the video you'll see the breakdown of the parts and how some of them go together, and then in part 2 of this video we're going to get into airbrushing and painting both the interior and the exterior. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know if you do, leave some comments below. Click the like button if you do. I enjoy bringing you this series. I have a friend of mine who really likes Forgeworld stuff. It gives me the opportunity. He likes the Forgeworld models, but he just doesn't like building. So it gives me the opportunity to build them and enjoy building them and then bringing them to you. So I hope you like the series. Like I said, leave a comment if you do. And let's get going and check out these videos. Alright guys, here we go. This is the gun I was talking about. It's going to be the Armageddon pattern Basilisk. It's basically a resin kit from Forgeworld. These are 2 parts right here. But if you can see, that's a lot of detail in there. There's also a lot of plugs on here that are going to have to be cleaned off. This is basically where your gun mounts to. It's the gun mounting platform. And you got to cut out a bunch of these panels so that you can put this underneath it like that, and then it will slide in there and you'll be able to see the detail underneath. Here's the Basilisk cannon. You got to cut that plug off, but there's not really a seam up the barrel, which is going to be easy for cleaning up. Here's the main hull. We'll have to cut that off, be real careful. But it looks good, a lot of detail. So what it uses is the normal base for a Basilisk, so I've already put these together, and we're going to keep working on that, and we'll check in step by step, and I'll show you how I put it together. This is the same friend that owns the Thunderhawk, and I'm trying to get all this stuff for him. We got a big old Apocalypse game coming at the end of the month, so we're trying to get all this stuff together. Check back in a minute. Alright guys, here we go. Here's the basic construction. I've got the GW parts together. I put a little plastic card here so that I could put a magnet there and then magnetize the weapon in the front so you can switch out. This piece went in very nice, slid right in. I assume that little gap there so that this can fit down in it. So now what's got to happen is that this is going to slide in. This all works out pretty well. I'm pretty happy. It's a great kit. Wish it was mine. Right there. That's going to slide in there. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to glue it because I want to paint it. And then the piece that goes over it doesn't necessarily have to glue down to it either. So we're going to leave that unglued for a little while so we can glue it. But I'm going to continue to build the kit so I can just get down to that point. So after the next step, which is going to be starting to clean up the gun and build the top, I'll come back and show you the rest. Alright guys, check this piece out right here. This is the actual floor piece that mounts. First of all, it's going to be glued to here, so it's mesh, and then the gun will actually mount right on this. I think that's pretty cool. And what happens is, that I showed you before, these little pieces have to be cut out. Well, if you're going to do that, the number 11 blade is a great blade. It's got a thin tip, but man, is that sucker sharp. And it makes short work of all this. You go back and clean up your trim, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm going to start putting the gun together. So there you go. Alright, I'm going to put a little glue on this, a little more glue. This is the best way I found to do this. Set this on the ground like this, then take this and match it up, and then just sandwich it closed. And then that way, it'll be totally even. Yep, even. Alright. Perfect. There you go. Alright guys, we're moving along. I wanted to show you some stuff real quick. Look at the size of the plugs on these. That's a lot. There's a lot of resin left over. Heck, you could probably do a couple fine cast models with this much resin. But what I'm actually going to do is keep these plugs and use them for street barricades. So I think that'll work out pretty good. But I just wanted to show you, you know, the importance of having a good razor saw is that you can get right in here and start cutting, and you know, this stuff is soft, but you want to make sure that you keep a great angle. You want to make sure that you don't use a bunch of choppy or a lot of pressure strokes. Just nice, smooth cutting across, and you'll slowly start to work your way through the resin. And then what you'll have at the end is something that you won't actually have to sand as much to get that to get those flat. So almost done. Starting to come through. See where we're at? Yep, right on the verge of breaking through. What I'll do sometimes is see what's going to happen here is it's going to catch on the saw, and it's not going to go, so we just flip it over and start from the other side. And within a few cuts, we should have it right through. See, it's all it took. We cut that far into it the first time, so we only had to go that little far. And then on the bottom, you don't really have a lot that you need to sand off, so that works out pretty well. So I'm going to do that to these others. Cut this big honker off the gun here. And then I'll be back. So we'll put the gun together. Alright guys, what you can do is if you look right here, you can see a seam running down the barrel. Very light seam, not very pronounced. And how you would take that out, if I would use this to sand that seam down, basically I would end up creating a flat spot on my barrel that, you know, if someone was looking really close, they could see it. But what we do is we use this thing. It's called the Flexifile, and it's made by Flexifile. You get them at most hobby stores. And if you can see what it's doing, is it's going to compress itself to the curve of the barrel, and lo and behold, it's just going to sand that seam right off and leave it nice and round. So I'd recommend that you get one of these because they're great for things like aircraft, doing the fronts of wings, doing round things, barrels, wheels, any kind of stuff like that. Yep. So all I gotta do is that right there. Brush it off, see where we're at. We still got a little more to go. That's all you got. And so I'll go back in and clean it up. There's just two little spots right there. The rest of it's all sand down. So that's what you should probably add to your toolbox, is a Flexifile. Okay guys, here's the assembled models and one that's still a little apart to show you how easy these things are to put together. Basically, you're going to glue that shell in to the bottom of the thing, to the bottom of the Basilisk. Now, right here, you'll notice, yes, that looks like plastic, but actually, if you remember in the other video, there was that gap, and what I did was I took some sprue right off the sprue for the Basilisk, and I cut it to size, sanded it, and then I put it in with testers cement. And the difference between this glue and super glue is the fact that this glue right here will then that glue right there will melt the plastic together, and it gives it like a better bond, if you will. So basically, this little piece right here, it slides out, but you're not going to see this detail once the model's put together. So my intention is to paint this black, paint the bombs a little shaded green, because maybe you'll get lucky and see them poking through the mesh, like right there. You can't even see that under there. It wouldn't matter if I painted them white, purple, pink, or whatever. You're just not going to be able to look through there and see. So the next thing, after you get this in, you put all the parts on there, and you're going to glue these two pieces together. You're going to slide them on up in there. Now the only difference between both of the models is the fact that the gun, this is the Medusa gun, that is the Basilisk gun. That's the only difference in the kits. So there's no difference other than that. The interiors go together the same way. The shells go together the same way. If you see these little tracks right here, they fit on those grooves right there. I built the Medusa with the commander hatch up. I built the Basilisk with the little hatch down, and I'll show you in just a second. But basically this little thing right here, the commander can stand on to look out of the hatch. And on this one I decided to go with it in the up position. What I did have to do with the Basilisk, and I am going to repeat on the, what I did on the Medusa, and I'm going to repeat on the Basilisk, is the fairings, the skirts. If you can see, this fairing sticks out a little bit more. That's the original part. What I had to do was cut it down, and then I cut the end of it off and glued it to the now cut end so that it would look like it was a natural piece. Because if you try and put this piece on, the fairing here causes it to stick out too far, and you're not able to put the front track guard on. Now, I showed you before where I put the plastic card here so I could put one of my flat magnets on there, and then I can magnetize both the flamer, the heavy flamer, and the heavy bolter. And I've taken several parts from the kit, and I've added them to the Basilisk. These are some hand grips from other models. This is some insignias, little radio antenna, and a smoke launcher. Of course, this one will have the tracks on it, but the kit goes together pretty well. There's the back. Now there's a teeny bit of a gap here, but I'm going to leave that there because I want to be able to take the door off. And once you have the door off, you can see all the great detail inside. Now this is turned around the wrong way. That's okay, we're going to fix it when we put it together the final time. This top is not glued on here, it's just fitted on, dry fitted. Here's the little place for the commander to stand, put his feet while he's looking out of the top. And if you can see, the Basilisk still has full range of motion. While it's, you can either have it in the traveling position, or the whooping up some artillery position right here. And I put this hatch open where the hatch on the other one is going to be closed. Alright, so that's about it for the construction. These, they go together pretty straightforward, guys. I highly recommend this kit. They look sexy. Even in your normal 40K game, the tanks look sexy as all get out. We're going to paint these up in Steel Legion colors, and we'll get that started here shortly. But that's it for the construction. Let's wrap this thing up. Alright guys, here you go. The vehicles are together. We're getting ready to take them into the kitchen, give them a good wash down. You've seen all that before with the Thunderhawk video. We're going to bring them back in, probably start tomorrow painting them in the colors of the Steel Legion. If you look way back on my blog, you may see some of the old vehicles that I did for him. It's been quite a while. But we're going to get these vehicles set up so we can get them moved along. And I'm basically using this as a method to get prepared to paint the Thunderhawk. If you haven't touched your airbrush for a while, you kind of don't want to just jump right in on a big project. You want to kind of ease back into it. So this way I can clean my airbrushes, I can get used to mixing the paint again, and then we'll work on these, and it'll be a lot easier to strip these if we mess them up than it would be to strip the old Thunderhawk. So stand by for part 2 of this video. Again, if you like the video, click like, look us up on Facebook, and check back soon, like next week, for the second half of the painting the Armageddon, Basilisk, and Medusa. See you soon.